Hi. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what are the common career mistakes people do in quantitative finance. It's based on my own experience of working in this field for over a decade. I myself have made some of these mistakes, but I have also seen other people making these mistakes. So, it's good to know actually, if you're an aspiring quant, you must not do these mistakes, or not all of them at least, right? You might do some of them, but I think it's good to be aware of that. I think a lot of people don't get to get to learn from more experienced professionals on the one who have made similar mistakes in the past, and that becomes a problem. So the one big mistake that many quants make, and I can't emphasize this enough, which is that people over specialize. They just want to be specialist in just one area. They fall in love with the work that they're doing, so much so that they simply do not explore anything else. This is something I have seen, right? I've seen people working on just one type of work, one area for 8 years, 10 years. Never do that, right? You may not, you may like the work a lot, you enjoy the work, but you still have to explore other fields, other kind of work within quant finance. So, right. So do not over specialize in just one area, right? Especially for young generation. Let me tell you that it's risky. I think it's true everywhere in other career also. You can't be a specialist in just one area. That becomes a bit risky when you grow in your career, become a senior professional. Then you have very limited options. Okay, don't do that. Okay, if you spend about 18 months to 2 year in your field, you will learn enough about that, or maybe 3 years maximum. But after that, just leave, do something else. If you're working as a market risk quant, do credit risk quant. If you're working in one type of trading product, just explore other types of trading products. Not everybody can switch roles and try different companies. Not always easy, but within your own organization also you can try doing different things. For example, if you're working as a credit risk model developer, you could try climate risk model development for a while, just to understand what the kind of work they do and all of that. Or do stress testing, right? Do model validation for a while. Right? That will add a lot of uh, that will add to your CV, and it will give you more options when you become a senior professional, right? So keep that in mind. One other mistake, which is very related to the first one, is that there are some people who don't specialize at all, right? There's like generalists. They know nothing about the technical area. They're good at talking maybe, and they do survive in the industry. It's just that they simply do not specialize in anything. They know a bit about everything, but nothing in detail, right? That's also very dangerous, right? I've seen people doing that, the ones who actually feel that they're very smart and they can outsmart everyone. They learn a bit about everything. They keep switching roles every 6 months, 8 months, and initially people don't care much about if you switch roles between in 6 months, 8 months time. But then after a while you will realize that yeah, people won't trust you anymore, because you don't nothing actually clearly, right? If you work for 6 months, 8 months in a role, you probably won't learn much there. So spend at least 18 months, okay, in a role, right? So don't become a generalist, right? You can become a generalist later on after having 10 years of experience. Yes, go become generalist, but don't become a generalist the beginning part of career. um, yeah, that's something I would recommend. Then there is another mistake people make, which is by not being very flexible, and this is a problem with most quants actually, most technical people actually, right? Technical people are not always very flexible, right? They're very stubborn about, they're very particular about just one type of work they want to do, one type of people they want to work with, one type of company they want to work with. You have to be flexible, right? So that's super important. I think that's true for any technical people, but certainly for quants, I've seen that if there is a need to change your team, be flexible with that. If that helps you grow in your career, do that. If you're flexible with changing your company, do that. Location, do that, right? A lot of the technical people, they simply want to remain in their comfort zone. Okay, this is not true so much in sales or marketing, or HR, in those functions, but certainly I've seen that in more technical function, people don't want to change things. They simply want to be in the comfort zone. Very bad, actually, right? Extremely bad. If you, um, okay, right. And there's one other mistake people make, which is especially for senior professionals, right? A lot of them simply don't want to move out of quant finance. They love the field so much so that they simply want to be there. They always want to work with models and data and so on. But maybe there are better opportunity elsewhere, right? You could become a director in a consulting firm, or you could work with the first line, front office people, people who work directly with the clients, in a role that requires you to sort of explain models and data and everything. That may be a better role, right? So think about exit opportunities, right? If you worked in the industry for 10 years as a quant, or 15 years as a quant, and you become very senior, you have saturated in your role. I think good to explore roles which are, which require quantitative skills, but at the same time is quite different from quant finance. So it's very rewarding, actually. I've seen many people doing that. Many quants becoming chief risk officer, chief compliance officer, or head of some regulatory related activities, head of data, and so on and so forth. It's not pure play quant activities, but it's a career growth in your life. And and by the way, not everybody will want to do that. Some people, they simply want to be there and they love model. They just want to work with models all their life. Great, nothing wrong with that. But if you're not that kind of a person and you are someone who is looking for an executive position, I think it's good to move out of quant finance at some point in your career, right? If you don't become a managing director of your modeling team, right? If you think that that possibility is less, then do something else, right? Move out of it, right? There are some transferable skills you can use in other fields within finance. And I know a guy who was senior risk manager in one of the bank, and he went on to become a chief risk officer of fintech, and that fintech actually grew and became quite big, and he's still the chief risk officer. I think I checked his LinkedIn. He's still the CRO there. Quite a good jump, right? So, and very rewarding as well. So so keep these things in mind if you are pursuing a career in quantitative finance, right? But the first one is very, very important, right? Don't try to be a specialist early in your career. Try a few things. If you spend like 5 to 6 years in quant finance, you must have at least three specializations, right? On average, spend 2 years in a given role. And I'm not encouraging you to simply switch jobs. If you can do that, that's fine. But I'm not encouraging that. But I'm encouraging you to try different kinds of work, or to try exploring different types of work, that or different types of skills, right? So that you can write a lot on your resume. And once you become a senior, right, once you have 10, 15 years of experience, the number of roles for you will be very limited, actually, right? If you are just skilled in one type of work, then it becomes very difficult. I've seen a lot of people struggling, actually, after a while. And because your salary level will have a very high salary level, nobody will give a chance to learn something totally new, right? So it's good to have multiple skills on your resume, so that if you don't get a role in one of these skills, then you could try in other areas. So that's very, very important to keep in mind. Okay. As always, thanks for watching, and if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask me.